Megan Fogt is a sophomore on the Hillsdale Chargers women's basketball team and has gotten off to an incredible start, putting up big numbers, and especially on the glass and also scoring. Megan, how are you?
Doing well. Excited to be playing again tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game as we start the GLIAC year. Your team is 3-0 coming into the game tonight, and a lot of question marks coming into the season with Chelsea graduating. Some of you younger kids now having to shoulder a bigger load. When you got to the end of last year, how did you sort of assess your freshman season as a Charger basketball player?
Well, as a freshman, I really was just a player that they wanted to come in and provide a spark for the team, play solid defense, get a couple rebounds here and there. But as the end of the season came, I knew that with a lot of our points, our scorers leaving, I knew that a lot of people were going to have to step up, and so why not me? So worked really hard over the summer and just came back, and I started out well, I guess.
What did you do? You've told me a couple of times off the air that you worked really hard over the summer. Can you be a little more specific? What did you work on specifically to get the outcome that you were looking for?
Well, I did a lot of lifting and conditioning all summer to stay in shape so that I would come in stronger this year. I was a little weak last year, so that helped me a lot. And then other than that, just focusing on getting stronger inside as far as like finishing inside. So I had people helping me, hitting me while I was going up for layups, shooting free throws, even though my free throw percentage right now isn't doing very well. But mainly just trying to finish inside.
And the results are pretty obvious. As you started this season out, you knew that you were going to have some stability with some of the older kids. But as I looked at it, I kind of looked at you and Angela and a couple of the other bigs and wondering who is going to emerge as sort of a leader early on in the season. And you've been able to do that, putting up double-doubles, big rebounding numbers throughout the year. Do you feel different on the floor this year? I mean, do you feel like it's all paid off? Do you feel more confident maybe when you're out there?
I feel so much more confident this year than I did last year. Last year, I think I got really nervous just hoping to come in off the bench and do something positive, and I got really nervous, and so sometimes I would screw things up. But now just being able to start off the game, I can just settle in, and I knew that I needed to step up this year, and so I just feel much more confident, a lot stronger this year than I did last year.
And the proof is in the pudding, as we mentioned, the 3-0 start, getting the big rebound numbers. I mean, you start off a season getting double-digit rebounds every single time, and you start to expect that going forward, don't you? I mean, isn't that part of the deal? The expectations are higher. That puts a little more pressure on you, but that's a good thing, isn't it?
I think so. I definitely expect it out of myself, and I think people are going to start expecting things from me too. And I think other teams are going to start focusing a little bit more, like realizing that I am stepping up this year. So I think maybe my emergence at the beginning of the season is going to open up things for some other players on the court too.
What about the trip over Thanksgiving? I mean, I think that's tough to take off on a trip Thanksgiving night basically and play a weekend basketball tournament. But I understand some family came up and put a dinner together for the team and that kind of thing. Talk about your experience on that tournament trip.
Even though we were away from home over Thanksgiving, it was a really great trip. A lot of the parents came down to the hotel we were staying at and brought a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner, and we had some other food brought in, and it felt just like I was home just with a second family. It was really nice having a lot of family around since it was Thanksgiving. Even though all of our parents couldn't be there, it was still a great experience. And ended up with 2 wins, didn't hurt anything either.
Yeah, you got the 2 victories in those games, and you getting some pretty good outside shooting, with what Marissa can do outside. And that kind of makes it nice to have somebody like Marissa who can drain the 3, and then to have you with the ability to score on the inside. Teams are going to have to account for both of those now. And another opportunity for you is to maybe pick up an assist or 2, kicking it back outside when the defense closes in on you. Is that something that you think about?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. It's really nice having Marissa and the rest of our girls that can shoot the ball out there because it takes a little less. It gives me a little more leeway, a little more room. And then when people do start to trap and double down on me, I always look for Marissa on the outside and some of our other shooters.
What about starting the GLIAC year? Obviously, Northwood and a decent squad coming in tonight. The GLIAC is very difficult. You get into the GLIAC season now, 22 GLIAC games this year, which is insane. Almost everybody agrees with that. It's a real grind. You know what that's like now coming into your sophomore year. Do you feel ready for, physically and sort of emotionally to take on the challenge of this season, this GLIAC year kind of sitting before you?
Yeah, I do feel like that I'm ready for this GLIAC season. 22 games is a lot of games, but the semester school-wise is ending up soon, and I'm really ready to just jump into things. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun year.
I was talking to Coach about you after your last game, and she's so excited about you because you kind of put it all together from a student standpoint. You get involved in a lot of things beyond sports here on campus. What are some of those things that you do that occupy your time when you're not playing basketball?
Well, just with school, that's really important to me. I want to move on and go hopefully to med school. So I spend a lot of time studying and with groups like that. Other than that, our team has a Bible study that takes up some of my time, and there's a group called Athletes in InterVarsity. Athletes in Action is kind of Christian fellowship kind of thing. So basically just things like that take up my time, mostly my schoolwork.
It's a challenge. And you talk to a lot of the kids about the ability to sort of balance their time and their priorities, and you really do have to make schoolwork a priority at Hillsdale College. If you don't, you can fall behind pretty quickly. How was that transition for your freshman year, battling that difficult schedule in your classroom as well as the basketball demands that are on you?
First semester last year, I struggled with the change because in high school, school was never too much of a problem for me, but then coming to Hillsdale, it was a real wake-up call. I had to spend a lot more time than I was used to preparing for exams and writing papers, and then jumping into the collegiate level basketball too. It was overwhelming at first, but once second semester rolled around and I settled down, things got a lot more comfortable. But I think it is a really big culture shock coming in your freshman year.
Katie Czat was the National Player of the Year a few years ago. She went to Hillsdale College, obviously, and we had tremendous success with her. Early on in the season, you're kind of putting up Katie Czat-like numbers. I would imagine that you don't mind being compared to her, but also you probably want to kind of let it play out and that kind of thing. Do you know about Katie Czat? Did you ever get a chance maybe to hear about her or meet her?
Yeah, Coach talks about her pretty often, just in the leader that she was and the strong player that she was and how she developed, because Coach always talks about how she didn't come in with all the skills that she had, but obviously she was a tremendous player by her junior and senior year. And so I have heard a lot about her, and it's kind of scary to be compared to her. But it's exciting as well, and I hope that I can do half the things that she was able to do.
Megan Fogt, are you the next Katie Czat?
I don't know about that.
Okay, I just wanted to try to put it on the tape here, because I think when we watched her play, my partner and I kept saying we're never going to see anything like this again. 28, 29 points, 17, 18 rebounds a game every single night. Isn't that the challenge? No off nights, no games where you just don't feel good or you don't kind of have it. Isn't that the challenge for a student athlete, is to bring that consistency like she did every single night?
Absolutely. Just coming in with the playing well the first couple games, I'm feeling a little bit of pressure just to produce the same numbers that I've been producing. And so, Katie Czat obviously was so consistent and did a lot of great things. So I just hope that I can be close to as consistent as she was, and just helping the team. Just hoping to get the W every night.
That was her big thing too, and she was not a flamboyant player. She never tried to bring attention. She couldn't help but have the attention on her, but she didn't try to bring it on herself. She wasn't a me player. She had a night at Ferris, we talk about once in a while, where she had 14 block shots. I can't even mentally calculate what that would be like to block 14 shots. What about the defensive part of the game? Because I know for Coach Charney, that's huge. One of the reasons Katie didn't play a lot her first 2 years, and they had a lot of senior bigs, but also, she wanted Katie to get better on the defensive end. You got to play defense first in this program. Has that been stressed to you as well, to take care of business on the defensive side of the ball?
Absolutely, especially last year in my freshman year, just coming in off the bench. Coach Charney always told me that before anything else that I needed to get stops and play defense. And even this year with a bunch of new freshmen coming in, Coach is really stressing that she wants to make a defensive impression on every team that we play. So that's been really important this year, and it's going to continue that way. We're trying to keep teams to scoring lower point totals than we did last year. So defense is going to be huge for us this year.
It's kind of neat and a little bit surprising in the games that I saw earlier how much your freshmen got to play. And there are some young kids on this team playing meaningful minutes in a ball game. And now, I don't want to call you a veteran, but this is your second year and you have some underclassmen. How have you tried to kind of bring them under your wing, or you veterans trying to bring these younger kids along, making them feel, free on the floor to play and to feel good about their contribution?
Just coming from being a freshman just last year, I know what it feels like to come in and be nervous and be expected to do good things and produce positive things on the court. And so whenever I'm on the court with anybody, but especially the underclassmen, I really try to just talk as much as I can to them, make them as comfortable as possible, because we have some talented freshmen, and I want the best out of them. We all do. We want the best out of them so the team can prosper. So really just trying to make them feel comfortable and communicate as much as possible.
500 wins is one of those benchmarks in sports that are very difficult to attain. Your coach, Claudette Charney, has 500 wins now. She's the all-time leading coach by victories in the history of the GLIAC Conference, not to mention Hillsdale College. What fuels her fire on a daily basis? I mean, you see her at work, obviously. What does she bring to practice every day? What do you think sort of motivates her to get the best out of you?
She's so passionate for the game of basketball. Just coming in every day, she wants nothing more than to see us improve every single day. And just that will to win and that love of the game that she always brings. You never see her lacking in passion and will to win.
When you're on the floor, is she intimidating during the game? I mean, are you always in the back of your mind thinking, man, I don't want to, screw up because the coach is going to pull me and yell at me or whatever? Or is it one of those situations where you sort of want to do that anyway?
Yeah, last year, just as a freshman with a brand new coach, I felt a little bit that way. I didn't want to disappoint coach. I didn't want to get yelled at. But now when I do come off the court, I feel like it's never an intimidation for coach. She tells you what you need to know and what she saw out there, and she just wants you to be able to get back out on the court as soon as possible and change things if you did mess things up.
Megan Fogt is off to a sensational start to her sophomore season, putting up big numbers. The team is 3-0, and I just assumed that Alex Fogt was your brother. He's number 5 on the football team, plays H-back. You're not related to Alex Fogt.
We actually are not related. We come from the same small town in Ohio, the same high school, same last name, but we actually are not related at all. We get that a lot even at home from our hometown newspaper. They even said a couple times that we were siblings.
I think I mentioned in a broadcast that you were Alex's brother last year, and it's just not the case. Shockingly, you two are not related, but from the same town. You obviously knew him. You went to school together.
Yeah, we both went to Anna High School, local schools, all our lives, K through 12. And so I've known him since I was 5 years old. So
did you do your recruiting visits together at Hillsdale College?
We did not. Actually, he committed a lot before I did. And then once basketball season came around, I was contacted by Coach Charney, and I signed much later. So it's
actually almost unbelievable that you two are from the same town and you ended up at the same school. But we're really glad that both of you did. Megan, really enjoy watching you play the game. You guys are off to a great start. Good luck tonight and the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.